and
Nice.
we're ready to roll. We're rolling in football season. Excited about that. Not so excited about the Falcons QB situation after today, but hey, we signed Cooper Rush, so you know,
Yeah.
so
Ugh.
luckily I'm back at work, so I'm distracted. So a little
There you
bit
go.
from my
Well, hey, if that's where we want to start, I think we can. It's funny. It's and speaking of that, I've seen, and I've seen two or three times they talk about the worst QB rooms in the league, and they'll do one, two, three, four, five, and number one is always Cleveland, which
Cleveland.
again I find okay, take or leave it,
Yeah.
but always in the top five, they actually put Atlanta in there. And I'm like, guys, Tua is actually a legitimate quarterback. Yeah, Penix is, still struggling, stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not sure it's bottom of five. Now with Tua being injured, it
I think
doesn't.
maybe it's bottom five just as far as the lack of clarity and
That could be.
the unsettled nature of it over the last few years. Like basically since Matt Ryan left, it's been like
I mean, I
Good
call
point,
it
good
the
point.
curse of
a
Deshaun
revolving
Watson.
door kind of thing. But I don't
I call
disagree
it
with
the
what you're
curse of
saying,
Deshaun
Christopher.
Watson. We were
Yeah.
gonna like trade for him, and then fell through, and then Matt Ryan's like, "Hey, I want to be out of here," and it's been a revolving door. And I mean, you signed to it, but he's injury prone. You
Yeah.
draft Michael Penix. He's had more surgeries than I have fingers on one hand before he got left to
Yeah.
go to the NFL. And I'm like, you're getting what you asked for, and hey, you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win in this league. And
Yeah. But I mean, in theory, though, I think the one thing is also you got to look at the value and also what you're paying them. And that's the
Yeah.
part that I'm just trying to figure out. It's like Tua, you paid minimum. Penix is still on a rookie deal. So you've literally paid this much. And I don't know. Let's look at Daniel Jones and Indianapolis and stuff. Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
good year last year, coming off an injury and stuff. They have like Mr. Richardson as their backup, and there's nowhere to be found. I mean, there's no way that you're telling me that Atlanta is worse than Indianapolis. I wouldn't want to have Daniel Jones, Richardson, and I'm paying them, $60 million compared to I'm paying 10 million. And of course, this is not just for this year, and I know that's probably what they're looking at, but I'm just saying that Atlanta is not the worst situation out there. I mean,
I don't disagree with that, Christopher.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with
So,
that at all.
yeah.
I think especially too playing in such a weak division that it's like anything can happen. Like, did anyone
Right.
see Bryce Young last year winning the division? No. Like
No.
if you told me pre-week one, yeah, the Panthers are going to win the division this year, I'd say, wow, thank God we fired Todd Bowles. And then I'd say there's no way. But
Right.
it is sort of a crapshoot, and it's less of a crapshoot, like you say, when you're not paying him anything. So
Right.
it's like it's a lot like what we talked about a couple years ago with Baker Mayfield and Baker coming to the Bucks, and it's like, hey, we're paying him nothing. There's nothing to lose. Like,
Right.
if it doesn't work out, you cut him and you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
But if it does work out, you can have a potential franchise quarterback there. And unfortunately, I think that we're still deciding whether that's the case for whatever reason. I don't want to. If we can keep talking about the Falcons before we go into the Bucks, because I'm sure Christopher and I have a lot to say about the Bucks. But yeah, I just think that a low QB cost room, if you get any kind of value out of that, that's massive.
Right. And then next year, we've heard what, 5, 6, maybe 7 crazy quarterbacks could be drafted.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I should know this, but I don't. Does Atlanta have a first round pick next year?
Yeah, we do. We actually do next year.
Okay, so you do. So I mean, hey, at this point, the world is your oyster. It's not like Atlanta's not winning the Super Bowl this year. So you build in talent, you maybe get a true franchise quarterback next year. I mean, hey, the world is not ending. So it's more of like what we do with our Bijans. We've taken care of, London. So you got to figure out what you're doing with Bijan and that kind of things and build around your cores. And so
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean they've. That's another one too.
I'm sorry, I wasn't going to bring that up.
I don't understand. like why extend him? Just like I understand put the franchise tag on him, and then like you see what he can do in Stefanski's offense, but
Well, you saw
you
what he can do.
extend.
He can catch 200 yards and 3 touchdowns against Todd Bowles. That's two
Well,
games a
yeah,
year.
yeah. Well, if we can play you guys every year, I mean every
Yeah.
week, I mean he would be a Hall of Famer, Kyle Pitts. But
Yeah.
I just think like I don't know what we're doing, and I'm like, if you don't have a quarterback, I understand like there's low risk, but like you spent a lot of draft capital on offensive skill players,
Yeah.
and now you're gonna have to extend Bajan. You're gonna have to pay him probably over 100 million, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, what's the direction? Like, we don't have a right tackle right now. Like, Jawan Taylor wasn't at practice, and the backup to that was puking all over practice today. And it's like,
Oof.
he said he hydrated too much. The tackle I heard on the radio on the way home, and it's like,
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where we didn't know about Tua's back injury, and like Stefanski kind of tried to slip it like under the radar, and like the press just went nuts down here, and it's like, well, here we go. Like,
Yeah.
you signed an injured quarterback, you drafted an injured quarterback. I know next year if you have a bad year, you can tank for Arch or whatever, but it's like how many years are you wasting here? How
Yeah.
many, we have the
Yeah.
second longest playoff drought behind the Jets are number 1, we're number 2. And it's
Really?
like, yes.
Wow.
And we're in a
Wow.
bad division. Like the Jets,
Wow.
you
No
have the
kidding.
Bills, you've had the
The
Patriots,
Patriots. Yeah.
but we're in a bad
Yeah.
division down here. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Huh.
So, yeah. So, second longest
That's
playoff
just
drought.
yeah. It's purgatory,
That's
and
crazy. Wow.
it's not like it's unforeseeable purgatory either, because it's been like, I feel like we've been having this kind of conversation the last 5 years where it's like, well,
Yeah, and I think it comes. I mean, now it's can Matt Ryan like pull more of a I mean maybe a John Lynch type of thing versus a John Elway kind of thing. I mean, he's
Yeah.
he is a noted football player certainly for the team and got the history. So I mean, next couple of years certainly will tell. And in this era that we're in the NFL, I mean, you've got like 2 or 3 years to kind of show.
Yeah.
So with some good drafts and some good decision making, contract wise and everything, I think that's honestly, I mean, that's literally what the Bucks did. Certainly with Jason Light, a different kind of thing because he's not the name player or whatever, but he was a solid general manager. Didn't go out for the showy signings, and just sometimes now we're just getting the whole ownership thing with our head coach and pictures or whatever. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to talk about the Bucks, I could talk for 2 hours about the Bucks. This is
I mean, let's do it.
Well, let's
it's just it's so speaking of foreseeable and frustrating, like when we have Todd Bowles to be our head coach, and going back to 2021, and you're like, oh man, he's never worked out before. Maybe he's just going to be a continuance of Bruce Arians, and it'll, like that kind of system will stay in play, and everything will be okay. And Todd Bowles for 5 years now has shown that he is Todd Bowles, and it's like, at what point how much more evidence do you need? Like I feel like I could convince a jury at this point Todd Bowles is not a good enough head coach to win you a Super Bowl, like just flat out.
Yes.
With so everything good we do with our roster just feels like an absolute waste. Like I was thinking this morning, like comparing the Bucks offense to Seattle's offense, who just won a Super Bowl. And to me, it's hard to convince me that Sam Darnold is a significantly better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. I think they're at the same tier.
Yeah.
I think that Bucky Irving is better than Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. I think that our receiving core as a whole is better than JSN plus whoever else the Seahawks have. I think our offensive line is better. So it's like, and we beat them in Seattle. And it's like, there's so much evidence there that's like, this is such a good, like, I feel like we've built the team the right way and we've done what we needed to do, that to me, then it comes down to, okay, what are the other factors involved? And I think that so much of this goes back to Todd Bowles. I think
Yeah.
Mike Evans leaving, you have to put that on Todd Bowles. It
Yeah.
wasn't about
Yeah.
money. It wasn't about anything
Right.
other than he didn't believe that this team could win. And
Right.
if you're a leader who's been here through some of the worst, most putrid, terrible Bucks teams I've ever had the unfortunate, burden of watching, wins a Super Bowl, comes out the other side of that and says, I can't even play here anymore. There's something rotten in the culture. And now
Right.
we've got Baker, contract, we've got Vita Vea contract, trade request, which,
Yeah.
people are all the Bucks beat reporters are like, it's a negotiation tactic. I don't care if you let it get to that point, it's
Right.
bad.
Right. Yeah.
And
Well,
Tristan Wirfs
yeah.
pulled a hamstring in conditioning, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. The vibes are just so horrible right now that
Yeah.
it all stems back, I think,
Well,
to your
Well,
leadership. And the
Mike Evans,
leadership is
Mike
Yeah.
Evans left the Bucks after that Thursday night game against the Falcons.
yeah,
You could
yeah,
see it on the
100%.
sideline.
Yeah.
100%.
He was done
Well,
like that, and that comes down to coaching. I mean,
yeah.
it's Todd Bowles.
And I agree with you, Austin. I think that it does come back, and it's kind of like, I mean, you don't see this coming out of, let's say, Kansas City. You
Yeah.
don't see this coming out of, like LA and
Philadelphia,
and
LA,
where
yeah.
you have very strong leadership, respected leadership. You're not going to have that kind of thing. And it's certainly now, again, I'll throw in there with, unfortunately, it was kind of a uh, snowball effect with Mike Evans, because I mean, he talked about fans. Now, I'm sure if you have a winning team, you're not going to be too much worried about that. But we knew we couldn't win, and certainly Bowles, I agree with you there. And now it comes out. I mean, Baker, the whole situation, and Vita. Now it come down to, like I said, it gets out in the press. It doesn't get out in the press in Kansas City. Doesn't get
Yeah.
out in LA. Those kind of things. So I agree with you. It's a leadership thing. And now quickly though, so unfortunately that's going to happen. Hopefully it'll play out. And it's one of those things where it's a good news, bad news. I mean, hopefully the good news, we have we have a terrible year. The bad news, we have a terrible year. The good news is we lose our coach. Hopefully, thought that would have happened
Yeah.
when we missed the playoffs. But I think the other part was because Oscar sent me a text when Vita did it, and he said, listen, both, one's 8-year veteran, 9-year veteran, Baker and Vita. I mean, are we going to pay, 60, 80, 100, 120 million for these guys? Are we going to win? And then, so I'm kind of curious what you guys think from, we're not talking Bijan, again, a young stud
Yeah.
who is getting into his prime. Vita, which it's crazy to think that he's 9-year veteran and all of a sudden going, I mean, 300-pound nose tackle going into year 10, they don't skyrocket after that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Baker's a different thing, but what do you guys think? I mean, thumbs up, down?
I think Jason Light, he knows he's going to be around, right? Like he'll make it past. If something happened, they fire Todd Bowles, he will still be around because Vita Vea is very important to Todd Bowles' defense, right? Like he's got to have this big nose tackle who's a big playmaker. I just think Jason Light's like, well, Todd Bowles, he might not make it past this year, but I am. And so
right.
why if we have a bad year, quarterback class is deep. I can let Baker walk.
Yeah.
Got to reset a quarterback. I pay him a rookie deal, and then like you can really open up your pocketbook to other people if you don't pay Baker and Vita.
I completely agree with you, man. Well, notice in none of my rant did I say anything about Jason Light because I think that he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely.
I think that, he's leaving his options open. I think, unfortunately, though, like these wouldn't be questions if we had like a winning team. And, like I said, I think Mike Evans would still be here. I think that these guys and these deals would be less of a thing if there wasn't so much pressure or external or internal on just the way that the last couple seasons have gone. And so because of that, like it's like I totally I think you're absolutely right. I think Jason Light is like, I'm not going to anchor myself with some stuff if next year we're already going to have massive turnover, and it's possible it could go that way. And
Yeah.
I don't. If we trade Vita before the season, I think that would be the signal that he's writing the season off. We're going to potentially tank or see where we go, and then clean slate starting next year.
And ironically, I mean, Jerry came out, was it yesterday, and basically said he's ready for a big trade for defense. And, hey, that's the part where, at this point, it's like, I mean, we can't do what we're going to do, a Max Crosby for Vita Vea, or are you going to do like trade, and what do you get for Vita Vea? I mean, I trust Jason. I think we all, respect him. I certainly don't want to trade him for like, a third and a sixth. That's just ridiculous. So
I think you would at least get one first. I mean, for him.
Well, I don't know.
I saw the Rams
going
were
in
on the
year
list
10?
too. I was like, really?
Yeah, no, I saw the Rams too. I'm wondering how much of the Rams are a factor in this too. It's not as far as like a trade partner, but as far as like wow, the NFC is going to be brutal this year, and getting like realistically, do we have a shot to get through that? Like, whereas last year's team, I felt like at the beginning of the year, we had a good shot to compete with all those teams, and we showed along the way. We beat the Super Bowl champs in the season. Like,
their house,
we showed at least the first half of the year that we can compete with the class of the NFC. And then as that that fell apart, mainly starting with the Rams game, and how much it's like, well, if Aaron Donald comes back, we're toast. I don't want to play them. Like, who wants to play them?
Exactly.
So
he'll only be paying like 6 plays a game though, but that's okay. I guess that's
but he'll get 6 sacks on those 6 plays. Like, they'll bring him in every third down and 6 plus, and he'll get a sack or a pressure, or Myles Garrett will. And it's like, okay. Right. So I mean, I can't read the mind of Jason Light, but I don't necessarily blame him for how this has gone. And I don't blame Baker. I'll never blame a player for asking for more money or getting as much money as they can in a current deal. They're they're kind of obligated to do that to an extent. I know that, people like Brady in the past have always taken very team-friendly deals. I enjoy when players take team-friendly deals, but if a guy's like, I want to get my value, like Chris Godwin took a very team-friendly deal. He could have gone and played for the Patriots for $20 million a year.
30 million more,
or however much he left on the table.
Yeah,
love him for that. I think but if he'd gone to the Patriots and it was like they're paying him $25 million a year, I would have been like, well, that's the price of doing business. Not that we couldn't have afforded that, but that's maybe way out of our budget, and good for him for getting as much money as he could. So, I don't know.
It's the same thing with looking at like what the Eagles did. They signed Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis.
Yeah, that doesn't help us
like, well, I deserve to be paid too. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, the same thing tied with Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson, who were doing hold-ins or whatever. Like, especially at the running back position, you have to get your money when you can.
Yeah.
And as a running back past age 26 or 7, like, there's no guarantee that you're going to make more than $10 million the rest of your entire career. Mm-hmm. So those guys are like at their peak value right now. Try to get what you can out of it. I think if you don't play under your contract, if you pull like a Brandon Ayuk, obviously you're in the wrong. But leveraging what you can to help your negotiating position, I don't hate it all.
Well, and like Bijan's looking at like you extended Drake London, you signed Kyle Pitts, like you've done all these deals. Well, where's my deal? And I don't blame him.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, he's at camp, but I don't blame him.
Well, and you can't tell me. I mean, that they don't. I've seen whether it's whatever you're looking at. I mean, there's so much money you have under the salary cap. I mean, this is all that they have. I mean, capologists, everything. I mean, you have so much money. It's just having to make the decision. And when either them or their agent or whatever asks like beyond, and then you're trying, it's just a pure negotiation deal. So they want to extend Bijan. It's just a matter of getting there. And certainly he's got to be priority, 1 AAA. So I think that'll
We
get done. So
yeah, we've talked about it before, but like if you want to, the cap is fake. Well, is basically what I'm saying. Like the you can do whatever you want to a certain extent if you have the money and are willing to pay it.
Yeah.
And voiding out dead years or whatever and extending, by making contract extensions. I think the Packers, I don't really understand how their ownership structure works, but I know that they were thinking about or looking into raising more money just
well,
because you
everybody
need you
they're an
need cash
open.
on hand to make your team better. Like it's why the Eagles have been successful. I know
Mhm.
I've talked about that before, and it's why the Cowboys are able to
Well,
be competitive every year too, because they just will throw money at it.
you
And
know, I think that when you talk about that, I mean, Green Bay is obviously publicly owned. It's got anybody can, buy into the ownership there. I mean, it's the only, team that's publicly owned. I think though, because there is a salary cap, it's kind of to the point where the rich are putting their money towards, stadiums, equipment, all those things. But it's still crazy how you have, and this is more like when you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, that kind of thing when you don't have like a salary cap and you can't pay or whatever. I mean, there's only so much money that you can give. And that's the part where it's like you're not negotiating for just give me the money,
yeah,
EPL like we were talking about last time. So it's one of those things where I think that, it's you've got only so much to get out of there and you just hope to make the right decisions and not make a Albert Hainsworth decision and those kind of things. So I think Vita's great, like for instance, and stuff like that. And I'd love Baker to do it, but again, we've got to look at the long haul, and you know, I think this man right here, like you were saying, Chris Godwin for doing good deals, and it's funny, one of my things, and I'll slide it in here. It's very funny because I always had, and I'm an MJ guy, Michael Jordan, right? So all the
Mhm.
people, so MJ, LeBron, and stuff like that.
yeah,
And even though I wasn't like, I'm in love with Michael Jordan, it was pretty clear, even no matter what LeBron did, Michael Jordan is the greatest. But I always was mad. I could not believe, and this is many years ago. So Austin, you were probably like 12 or something like that. But when Michael Jordan, like, came back and played, and then he kind of was going out and like re-signed, like, for like the Wizards for like $25 million. And it was kind of like $25 million. Michael Jordan, the first, like gazillionaire. And it was like, Michael Jordan, why? $25 million? You don't need $25 million. I'll never forget. I was just so freaked out by it. And then seeing what LeBron did when he re-signed for 2 years, $8 million.
yeah,
I was like, LeBron, I've never been a fan till today. And
yeah.
being smart and savvy in that, and let's try to win the championship. So I just had to throw that out because, we're talking about cap friendly and stuff like that. And I just always had that thing where Michael Jordan, I was like, dude, you don't need a dime. And you asked for literally, it was one of the largest, it was 25 million a year, which was huge at
Mhm.
that time. I mean,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and also, you're not good anymore. I mean, I know you're the greatest of all time. And so I just thought that was kind of crazy. So just,
No, I think that's a good point. I think some people would say MJ had gambling debts to repay. There's conspiracy theories that that was why he left and went and played baseball for a year was, betting on basketball or something like that.
right,
Um,
right.
but
That's funny.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
I I think you're absolutely right, especially in today's NBA where it's like Draymond Green once LeBron wasn't going back to the Warriors, Draymond Green
Mhm.
re-signed like a 1 year deal with the Warriors and it was for like $27 million or something. And that's a reasonable contract in
Right,
the
right.
NBA, which is absurd. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm in favor of players taking the team friendly deal. Like
Mhm.
Steven Stamkos for a long time took really team
Yes.
friendly deals with the Lightning, and a lot of the reason that core was so good was because a lot of the leaders on that team weren't, a lot of people say state income tax, whatever. A lot of it was because we had a leadership group that was bought in,
Right.
and maybe this ties back to what I was saying about Todd Bowles and everything. Like when you have a leadership group that's bought in and thinks that they can win, then they're often more willing to take paid decreases for the higher chance to win a championship. Mike Evans just did it,
Right.
to go
Yeah.
to
Tom
to go to
Brady.
San Francisco.
Tom Brady would
Brady
always
too,
take
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like
team-friendly deals.
it's a part of that whole environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know
It's
how this season's gonna
yeah.
go. I saw today that Ruben Bain, they already have him dropping back in coverage with his alligator arms under Todd Bowles' defense. So, you
Oh,
know, who knows?
I I I I think it'll be okay. We'll see. I mean, lots going to happen between now and I think our next commish cast. Hopefully, we can do predictions for
mhm.
that next time and such like that. So I think it'll be interesting. I just although I tell you I hate it. I mean, what we've had like what 2, 3 days of camps and what we've had what 3 major like injuries already. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just
I
unbelievable.
haven't seen.
Yeah. So Carolina lost Brazil, whatever, wide receiver for like 8 weeks. Stewart, the defensive lineman, the rookie last year for the Bengals. And then there's another guy, even the biggest guy, out for like the whole year, and he was carted off like 2 days ago. Trying to think of who he is. So 3 major guys for 2 months or more already in 3 days.
Yeah.
So at one a clip, that's let's see, the next 30 days is
Yeah.
kind of scary. Kind of scary. So
I saw Alec Pierce is going to start the year on the pup list too. The guy that they again, speaking of non-team friendly deals, the guy that they're paying a gazillion dollars for 100 catches in his career or whatever. Um,
yes.
he's out for a while, and Micah Parsons too, I think.
Mhm.
Yep, Mike B's on the pup. Yep, yep. So yeah. So I'm not sure who will even be making it through by the time we have our next commish gas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So we will see. So um but yeah, one thing before we get off the topics of money and stuff, and I'm not a big fan of talking about it, but it was interesting. I read something. I don't think it's been determined yet, but it was about NBA, and they had talked about, I forget the player. He was a big NBA player, but they had talked about how, his contract was a very low friendly deal,
Kawhi
but then
Leonard.
yeah, then he also had a sponsorship deal and stuff like that.
yeah.
Like,
Yep.
oh
Planting
my
trees.
gosh, like yes, I mean, like first genius move, but boom, if you're going to get caught, you're going to get busted.
Well,
I hopefully.
well,
So,
he got traded to Toronto, but the NBA is like blocking the trade because the FBI is investigating
ooh,
the whole
FBI.
deal
Okay.
because it was a shady deal, and so the FBI is
Yeah.
investigating, and they don't want him to go to Toronto because if he goes to Canada
Oh,
and
he's
he's
outside of
guilty,
the,
it'd be kind of hard to get
outside of
him.
America. Wow. I mean, just the whole thought of, that, and it goes kind of like, MLBs and they're, we'll pay you, X number of dollars and, in 78. It's like the whole thing of like, oh yes, you'll pay for $5,000 this year. Oh, and by the way, this Sony Corporation is going to give you an endorsement for $700 million that's not under the cap. It's like,
Hmm.
wow. I mean, talk about, I mean, just you know craziness. So those are those kind of things that you know you got to wonder
Hmm.
about happenings and going ons and stuff like that. Salary cap and trying to make it fair and then trying to go around it. Hopefully they will get slapped big
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So
that was a. But I think it's interesting. The NBA's it's still blocked. I mean, like they're not allowing the trade until the FBI completes its investigation
Wow.
into it.
yeah, and it should be. I mean, that's huge. I mean, except for truly the integrity of the game through, let's say, I mean, again, back to NBA refs and stuff like that, or even pitches for MLB and stuff like that. I mean, the integrity of the game is first and foremost, but this is, basically breaking the rules to get a
Hmm.
competitive advantage. I mean, I mean, it could stain you for a long time. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
still, Houston Astros. I mean, Penn State, I mean, Michigan, all these
Yeah.
teams that, I mean, it takes a long time because people don't forget, unless
Hmm.
he
Yeah.
asks for forgiveness and all that, but you do. So,
Yep.
so next topic, World Cup. Do we want to
Yeah.
just little and congratulations, Austin. And we got it. We got a. There you go. Okay, he's got his. I saw him walking around with his flag,
There
Espana
you
flag
go.
tape yesterday, or like when they were. There we go. There we go.
Love it.
España.
Very nice. Very nice. Wow.
Yeah. What a fantastic tournament. I mean,
Mhm.
the hydration breaks and the blatant corruption from FIFA aside, um, the product on the field was absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it was nice having sports every single day that you could,
Mhm.
just turn on or tune into or pay attention to. Especially during these just like dead months of summer. I was talking to some friends, after the World Cup ended, and I was like, hey, training camp's in like 10 days. And they're like, oh my God, football is already back.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we've got the Hall of Fame game, what, next week?
Next Thursday
Um,
or so. Yeah.
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 So, that was good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I loved the World Cup. I think there were
Yeah.
so many good storylines this year too that kind
Uh-huh.
of outweighed the
Yeah. Yeah.
distractions on the side.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, just the whole thing, and it was interesting. I saw one of the pundits, if you will, who basically he had predicted Spain. Forget what his name is. You probably know him, Austin, but he was just like saying, like that's football. That is football. The way, I mean, if you don't have the ball, your other team can't score. And he
Yeah.
said, and he said, yes, a 1-0 win would just be perfect, ideal, and it was beautiful. I mean, to concede one goal in the entire tournament is just absurd.
Yeah.
And the way they did it was just was pretty amazing. So I think it was so incredible. And like you said, the stories, which we touched on a little bit last time, but the one thing I wanted to do, and I wanted to make it my final take, but since we're talking about World Cup, listen to this statistic, because the whole thing is like, obviously, is like, why can't America be better? And I think we know the answer, because all the young kids, right? What they want to play
Mhm.
football, they want to
Yeah.
play
Yep.
baseball, they want, okay, that. Well, I just saw this statistics, and it was a poll from age 19, no, age 18 to 29 has become the new football has become the
Mhm.
new number one sport. Guess what country?
US?
No, that'd be
No.
really crazy.
Probably Norway.
No, no. But along those lines, think of a host country.
Oh, Canada.
Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Canada. Now, do you
Yeah.
know that there's actually another sport in Canada that's kind of big? I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I mean, when I
Yeah.
saw that, I was like, Now, if you go further outside of 28, yeah, of course, it obviously falls
Yeah.
behind hockey. But that's when you get to your older guys, me, gray hairs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When you see 18 to 29, it's now number one. I
Yeah.
think that's, and again, it's hockey is Canada. So if that can happen there, and all of a sudden, you have your youth like loving, football, quote
Mhm.
unquote, more than soccer, which,
Yeah.
they do for the youngins, then that, Canada can obviously start being a great team, because you got amazing athletes. I mean, if you can do hockey, I mean, you could play an incredibly talented
Yeah.
sport, skating on ice, you can do soccer. And again, not to downplay soccer, but and I'm just wondering, I mean, because people always say, well, it'll never happen in America because there's football and there's baseball. Hey, if it can happen in Canada, where
Yeah.
hockey is, so I don't know about you guys, but that just blew me away.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think that like I think part of the problem here, and it's part of the problem with pretty much every sport other than football, just because football is king, is that no other sport has made it easy to get involved at a youth level. Like
Mhm.
soccer, the reason why it's the world sport, you need a ball and some dirt,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And Mauricio Pochettino had a really, really good quote about that in the middle of the World Cup, which was he, or the quote was probably from before the World Cup, but I read about it during the World Cup, which was talking about how the problem with a lot of the American youth that he's been dealing with is that they didn't grow up loving soccer or playing soccer to play soccer. They grew up, on these travel teams where you're like your parents are having to pay thousands of dollars for you to get involved. And like I remember that was a thing growing up. Like I played for the Y, just
Right.
cheap, and we went out and kicked the ball and stuff. But then
Yeah.
you'd have these teams come in that were the club teams that are playing year round and traveling nonstop. And it was and the prohibition there that prevents a lot of our younger good players from getting further involved because their parents either
Plus.
can't or don't want to pay for that, or they say, make a choice because we can't have you play, you know, baseball equally expensive and crazy to get involved in. Like I'll see
Right.
TikTok videos of kids like with like 100 different pads and gloves, and they're like 8 years old, dripped out, going on these
Right.
travel league games. And the part of the great thing about America is we find ways to monetize and make a profit out of everything. And somewhere along the way they found that they could do that with youth sports.
Hmm.
And it's part of the problem with soccer. So what Pochettino was saying was that
Yeah.
like, he grew up with nothing in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere, Argentina, and they're just kicking a ball around. And so you have this like innate sense of like your connection to playing soccer as opposed to it being like you're getting drilled at practice every day on like you need to play this X position and we're going to do 100 times that you're doing this route and this route and this route. It's not. It's like creating soccer robots as opposed to creating soccer players was essentially
Hmm.
his message. And
Well, yeah. Go ahead, Austin. Sorry.
no, that was basically
Okay.
it that I found fascinating that I kind
Well,
of agree with. I think that
well,
is a big problem with
yeah. I agree
American
with you.
sports beyond football.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. I mean, I saw it with Nicole. Like,
Yeah.
she wanted to play high school basketball. She wasn't good enough to play college ball, right? Like, I knew that, but they were like, oh, if she wants to play high schools, any of the high schools in Georgia, you have to play on a travel team. Like, it's year round. Like growing up. I mean, I'm sure you were that way, Christopher. Like, you know, play baseball in the spring, summer, football in the fall, basketball in the winter. Like now it's 12
Yeah.
months out of the year, you have to pick a sport. You're going nonstop 12 months out of the year. And I mean, Nicole got burned out.
Yeah,
Like her junior
Yeah.
year of high school, she's like, I'm
Absolutely.
done.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
I think you're seeing that's I mean, just as a parent, I saw that. Like, and I think John Smoltz, when he got inducted in the Hall of Fame, it was a great speech, and I recommend like all parents watching it. He's like, they need to play different sports because you're
Right.
having kids in high school having Tommy John surgery,
Yeah.
yeah,
and
Oh, yeah.
and they're just they're pitching full max 12 months out of the year, and you're just burning up your elbow. And he's like, different sports work out different muscles, and that's what you need to do to have a balanced life. I mean, he was able to do it,
Yeah.
and I don't see why not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the tough part is though, is now it's like literally and going back to what you were saying, Austin, is that monetizing, it's like you can make like with NIL and everything, it's like, before it was like, oh, well, you're never going to make it to the pros. So it's not even worth it. It's like, so it's like now you've got, if there was money equity, and then maybe you could see it rising just because of the whole level. I mean, I was just, and again, thankfully, the last 5+ years, I have just become to love, you know, soccer. It's
Hmm.
engulfed me. I love the passion. I've been over here now in Europe, and it's unbelievable. And it's such a passion thing. So I'm loving it. But then again, I see in America where, I mean, you've got like NIL deals where people are now saying, well, I think I'm going to stay in college before I go pro because might be making more money there. And they're, signing like, 12-year-olds and all this stuff in those other sports. Because I mean, we're just now getting like professional soccer to get up to be regular. So my heart breaks a little for that because it's such an amazing sport. And all else being equal, I think we could certainly do it and catch the world. But then you have, again, the money part, which will be just, I mean, with the crazy amount of monies, but over here in Europe, there's only one sport. I
Yeah.
mean, really, I mean, it's football, soccer, and it's maybe down here basketball or something, but it's just nobody else. There's no competition, but it was an amazing tournament. It was incredible to see, and I think it's gonna grow, and we'll get Matt in the fantasy soccer leagues.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. I and I know this is not World Cup, but I loved watching it. I mean, I'm off during the summer, and it's like, oh, I could just pop it on, and I could be doing something else. But I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. Atlanta was a host, so the atmosphere around here was amazing. I ran into some Scottish fans at Hartsfield. I was flying out, and I mean, they're just a hoot. They were flying down to Miami, and I was like, well, it's a little warmer down there than Boston, so you might not want to wear anything underneath your kilt. So it was just a hoot.
Yes.
And I mean, I love seeing people from Europe come over here. And if you just watch the news about America, it's like we're so divided, blah blah blah, politically, and they come over here and they're just loving the culture. It was great to see like Europeans go to Buc-ee's and go to Waffle House, and especially here in the South. And it was like, I just love that. I loved the culture aspect of it, and I mean, I was hooked. I kind of watched the World Cup the last few times, and I mean, completely hooked, and I loved it, and it was great. So
it's as far as the World Cup, it was interesting to me how so many of the teams that made it deep were like reliant on kind of superstar talent. Like 3 of the 4 semifinalists, I'd say, it was like you had Mbappe, who was pretty much carrying France. I know Dembele played pretty well, but you had Mbappe, and then for England you had Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, and then for Argentina you had Messi. But then Spain didn't really have like that guy that that got you across the line, and they kind of showed why they didn't really need that, because Lamine Yamal played well, and everyone loves him, and he's young and he's exciting, but he was not playing at that caliber of level like the Mbappes and the Kanes and things like that. But the team around them, like Christopher was saying, was like, if you have control of the ball the entire game, the other team can't do anything. And
it's like any sport. You have possession. Guess what? You're going to win.
Yeah. So it was a very, very fun World Cup to watch, and I did like the 48 team format. I didn't think I was going to like it. I did like it. I liked Cape Verde, the only team who didn't lose in regulation the entire tournament. They took both finalists,
and they took both finalists
to extra time, which is crazy, and scored one of the most amazing extra time goals. I think it ended up being the goal of the World Cup.
Yes.
So you had like some of these unbelievable stories like that we wouldn't get in a smaller World Cup. And I think that unfortunately for America, I worry if that blowout loss to Belgium kind of set us back, because everyone was starting to feel World Cup fever here, Christopher. Like it was getting pretty hype, and
I can imagine.
Going into the Belgium game, unfortunately, politics got involved, and that kind of soured the mood beforehand.
Yeah.
And as much as the players said that it didn't affect them, I think it definitely did. And it sucks that we had to let that happen. It sucks that FIFA is so corrupt that probably is what happened, is that FIFA got involved and was like, oh well, we can't ban this guy. We'll suspend, just blatantly breaking their own rules for no reason. As much as I didn't think that it deserved a red card, like the justification afterward was like, they didn't have justification, because it was just like, well, we just decided to suspend the suspension. And so it created just like a real negative vibe before the game. And then the game happened, and it was just
Yeah.
you know, about as big a disaster. And then everything I saw online after that was pretty much like, oh well, you know, back to not caring about soccer for 4 years. And
Well,
it's like, no, guys, please
I
don't.
know.
Like,
But you know, that's the part where those guys may or may not still have been fans had we won. We weren't going to go past that pretty much. I mean,
no,
let's just
no,
be
no.
honest. So yeah, let's say we win that one, but we lose the next one. So they're going to be out after the quarterfinals anyway. I think it's the people who
Yeah,
really caught on. Matt here, we're saying me even more. You obviously are just
yeah,
fanatics already, but it's one of those where I think it's those and it's the introductions and the people that really, you know, let's say went to a game or just went to a pub or saw the Scottish
yeah,
people in the airport. Those are the people that are just it's going to be building. And I'll say
yeah,
this because this was the advice that it was one of my church friends when I was asking him about, you know, I said, geez, you know, how do I get into this? And so Matt and maybe Austin could give you some advice, although I did see a little thing on one of the um I'll try to maybe find it again, but it's you have to pick a team. So you pick a team from the EPL. That's the English
Okay.
Premier League. That is the
Yeah.
NFL. And Austin, correct me because you are a much bigger soccer man than I am.
yeah,
But the NFL of soccer is the EPL.
yeah,
So
yeah,
just pick a team this year and follow it.
Okay.
yeah,
And that's
I
what
can
I
do
did.
that.
For me, it was Chelsea just because they had, you know, Christian Pulisic at the same time. So if I had known they were more of the Dallas Cowboys of the EPL, I might not have picked them, but I didn't have Austin to bounce it off of.
yeah,
So they're my team, and I'm not going to ever change. You know, it's one of those things. I'm not going to be
yeah.
a fair weather.
Yeah.
No, I know.
So
I had a friend trying to convince me when Tottenham was at risk of relegation. He's like, "I'll just pick a new team." I'm like, "What are you talking about? What are
I
you?
know
What?
that's
What?"
that's it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So you get to pay. It's funny. I think it might have been even the website or the email that I sent to you. I think it's called like the tap in, but it actually had on there one of those things where it said you could pick your team based on these 20 questions. So it had questions like, are you a consistency guy? Are you a passionate guy? Are you whatever? And it
Yeah.
said, do this. And I ended up taking it. And it was funny. It was like, I think my team, based on the questions of who Christopher Hatton is, was Nottingham Forest, which was interesting. So I was like, well, okay, maybe they're a tier team down here. So just you got a few weeks there, Matt, to pick a team because I think the season starts August like 14th. So
yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't pick any team that just got promoted because
That's a little
like
bit
the
more.
odds of you getting immediately re-relegated is very high.
very high,
Um,
unless you're Sunderland. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that's cool.
I'll take a look at it, you know, and I mean,
There
I've
you go.
I've turned it on, like, you know, they have Premier League here like Saturday
Yeah.
mornings. I've turned it on, like, you know,
Well,
sometimes just to watch
and,
it, you know.
and that's the great part about being able to you could just watch your team. And
yeah,
then, you know, you get in, and then that's the whole thing about fantasy is that by fantasy, you get to players you're going to be watching, you know, all of a sudden
Hmm.
you're going to be watching him, not in Force. You're going to be watching all these teams that you're watching just for your player, which is just what the
Okay.
NFL is anyway, you know, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about it. So, you know, so
cool. All right. Topics? Any other topics that
well, we have down here a couple. I one of these that I did want to talk about was the ESPN layoffs and
yeah.
Pat
Hmm.
McAfee. Um, you know, I think some of them, like ESPN as a whole, I think has lost a lot of what made it special.
hmm.
And I think part of that is just purely due to dilution of the market. Like it's so much easier to ESPN used to be your one outlet for sports highlights, sports news. Like I'd watch ESPN every morning growing up, and
Right.
Oh yeah.
every night, you know, you're watching
Sports
Sports
Center,
Center.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
And then you
watching
watch NFL
Around the Horn,
primetime Sunday.
PTI. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and now there's like, you know, there's guys on Instagram or YouTube or wherever that are making unbelievable analysis and like actually giving good sports stuff versus ESPN's kind of devolved into just like hot take versus hot take. Like I feel sometimes like we talk about more substantive stuff here than a lot of the ESPN personalities talk about there. And their choice to promote and give Pat McAfee even more money. And I don't hate Pat McAfee. I think he's entertaining, but it's like, you know, that's kind of the choice on their end to we're gonna have to double down on this like we're going to talk more about the goofy and the crazy and the you know whatever Pat McAfee
kind of a
style
shock
kind of
jock.
Yeah, that kind of version of sports talk, as opposed to, the people like Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser and the guys like Around the Horn was all local beat
Yeah.
reporters, and that was what
Hmm.
made it great,
Right,
in my
right,
opinion.
right.
Was you had these people from around the country that they'd talk about, you know, the Denver Broncos or something, and stuff that I didn't know anything about, but they were intimately involved there. And I don't know, it's just kind of, it feels like a poor choice on ESPN's part, but I think that it's kind of like bailing water out of a sinking ship, and I don't know.
I mean, they've made cuts before. I mean, they've had to. And I agree with you, Austin. I just think there's so many more options. Like, you got Fox, even some of the bigger networks like Fox Sports, you can watch stuff on there, and most people get their stuff from Instagram now, right? Or like, someone's YouTube channel instead of, oh, let me turn it on ESPN, let me turn on the TV. Most, like it drives me up the wall. Like Nicole's like watching videos on her phone, and I'm like, you got a 55-inch TV right in front of you,
Right.
like it just drives me up the
I
wall.
can't scroll
But
Twitter on my TV.
yeah, but like, and she gives me the same thing. Like I can scroll on Instagram, I can doom scroll. But I just think it's just a different, you younger generation who grew up with basically
Yeah.
computers in their pocket, right? And so that's what they're used to. They're not used to watching TV, and that's why you see big screens now. Big screen TVs for $300, $200, 55-inch TVs because market's been flooded. And same thing. I just think ESPN, it just got hit, and I mean, I found it very ironic. Ryan Clark goes on TV and says, "Well, Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl," and 20 minutes later, he was fired. Um, I was like, "Ooh, not a good
Yeah, he
take
got
there."
fired mid-show.
Yeah, mid-show. Yeah, I mean, there's a better way
Yeah.
to do that. I mean, like
Yeah,
let him finish the show. But
Yeah.
I I agree with you, Austin. I mean, growing up, I remember just laying
Yeah.
in bed watching Sports Center, all morning, and watching PTI. I loved watching Pardon the Interruption,
Yeah.
and
Around the Horn was
or
one of my
watching
favorites.
NFL
Yeah.
Sunday night, you know, Sunday night,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a different day, and it's a different world. So I always say, like, adapt or die. Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix, didn't,
yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you adapt or die in this world. So
Yeah.
ESPN's got to do it. And
yeah.
unfortunately, people
Yeah.
love Pat McAfee, like, right? I mean, people do. People, I
I
mean,
I think, to me,
his ratings are high. College game
yeah,
day. I mean, I
it
don't,
was it was
you know,
crazy they had him do an NBA Finals like simulcast. I was
yeah,
like, this guy, what?
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
he was like, he had his own simulcast on the court, and then I think that
huh.
the tasteless part of it was the day after all these layoffs. He announced like some big album that he had released, like a music album. People were like, what?
Oh my gosh. That's
all this from
crazy.
a
um,
guy who was a punter in the NFL. Like,
yeah, no, I
you
know,
know,
I know.
uh, I
Although,
I just think it's the world we live in, and
yeah.
you adapt or die as a business, right? And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I,
unfortunately, Pat McAfee's just very popular. I mean, I don't care to see his chest on College Game Day. I
oh
just
my
don't care
Yeah,
gosh.
for it.
Yeah. No kidding.
So
Staying up there.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched much of it like past couple of years with him on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Although I did see, I guess like a reel or something though, where Ryan Clark was on his show, and Ryan Clark was like, well, for football players that really played the game, I'm just saying. And Pat was like, oh, really? Well, so you made a tackle, right? You made tackles in the NFL. He's like, yeah. He's like, do you ever score any points? He's like, no. Did you ever catch a pass? Well, no. Did you? And he went through like the 8 things you could do. He goes, well, I did 6 out of those 8. And how many did you do? So who was right? And I was like, wow, Ryan, I'm not a big fan of either of them necessarily, but I
yeah,
was like, wow, we just got put
he
in your place.
Ryan
Big
Clark did
time.
the same thing with Peter Schrager,
Oh
who
yes, I
didn't
did
play in the
see that.
NFL, but that was another crazy one to me. That was like,
That was
dude,
bad. That when I saw that, I had no qualms about Ryan going bye-bye. That was
hmm
embarrassing. That really
yeah,
was. You don't shame
you're
somebody.
losing an argument when you go, oh, you never played, so you wouldn't get it. Like,
I know. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, speaking of, so here's a funny thing. I don't know if you saw this clip, but um, Jerry Rice, right? Like literally, if not one of the greatest players ever. And so he's playing in what's the Accenture, celebrity, golf championship. And again, if you saw this or didn't, so he swings, hits, doesn't hit a very good shot, obviously. Somebody yells, four! And Jerry Rice turns around and goes after the guy, goes over the ropes and goes after the guy. And he starts running. I'm like, Jerry, I mean, talk about your competitive, Jerry, did you never hear the heckles? Now of
yeah.
course he didn't get much heckles in the NFL. But I was like, wow, all right, Jerry, still's got the, you know, crazy competitive spirits and still is going after the people and the I to me seeing one of the greatest of all times do that was kind of crazy.
I did not see that, but I have seen this offseason, I've seen a lot of Tom Brady kind of doing similar stuff with Logan
Thank you.
Paul.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tom, what are we doing,
like,
man?
why are
Like,
you lowering
this
yourself
guy's
to
a
that, Tom?
loser. Don't give him the time of day. Like, you go, if Logan Paul ever says anything to you, you go, and you walk
Right.
away.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think it's staged. It's being
oh, it's
staged.
got to be, yeah.
And so, but I saw the best thing on again another reel. It said, "Will somebody please tell Tom Brady that he doesn't have to stoop to blah blah blah." I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, Tom, and then I saw another thing that talked about again, interesting, bringing up these guys again, Tom Brady and Michael Jordan. It said, what Tom Brady's doing is the opposite of what Michael Jordan did. Michael
Yeah.
Jordan just walked away and was out of the spotlight, and it's mysterious. And now when he's seen, it's all. I mean, Tom Brady is like, dude, you are way too I don't want to see your face again. I'm
Yeah.
literally so.
I,
I
I
it's crazy
I'm,
to me. I mean, how
it
big
is,
is your ego?
yeah. I'm wondering too, because like when he was a player, he was never a huge ego guy. Like he was always a winner, but he was never
Mhm.
cocky. I never took him as cocky or arrogant. But he didn't do press like this, like you're saying. This is all kind of
Not
post
press, right?
career, he's all over the place, and it's like he was never like this during his playing career, and I
Well,
don't know. But
I'm
everyone's like,
like,
it's
don't stoop
giving,
to that level.
yeah, it's giving like
Like
big
when I
time
picture Tom
divorce
Brady,
dad,
I'm like,
midlife
you're up. He's
crisis.
way up here as far
Yeah,
as winners of all time, and I'm like,
Yeah,
why do that? Like,
I don't.
it's not like he needs a buck or anything. I mean, he's got a nice, contract from Fox Sports as
yeah, they're
Right.
well.
paying him. Speaking of people getting paid, he's getting paid like 70 million a year or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I don't understand. I mean, you're still going to be on, TV and stuff to do all these things and to be in a casket for, WWE and all this stuff and do the Undertaker stuff and everything. And it's like, dude, I mean, I, yeah, I mean, that's just, I think somebody needs to give him a little better advice. I don't know. It seems really out of place. So
yeah,
He's always been a bit of an oddball. So
yeah, it's just,
yeah,
I mean, wow. I mean, it's like I said, unfortunately, I mean, it's hurting his reputation. It really is. I mean, when
yeah,
you look at it, I mean, you look at just classy people. That's why, again, it shocked me. That shocked me. The Jerry Rice thing shocked me too. I'm like, dude, I mean, it's just somebody yelling, whatever. So it's kind
it's
of
been a
crazy.
weird offseason for a lot of legends, like Tony Romo.
hmm
Uh, got pulled over recently. I haven't watched the video yet, but
I
um,
I saw it this morning. I mean, he wanted to call his lawyer right
yeah.
away. Like they wanted to do a field sobriety. Um,
Well, yeah.
but
You
I'm
should
like,
never do a field sobriety test, but
well, I agree, but and I'm not even in law, but I know that,
yeah,
but I still don't understand some of these celebs where okay, you get hammered on a golf course, okay, it's happened to all of us.
call an
Uh,
Uber.
Uber.
well, you probably could
You're,
hire a personal driver, Tony Romo,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
you think
know,
you can afford
yeah,
it, right?
and
yeah,
NFL teams have a driver on demand. Like NFL
Sure.
teams keep a drive, like they'll go pick you up at a bar and they'll have someone drive drive your car
Yeah.
home. I just don't get it. Like, and to
Mark
me, like
Sanchez.
if I'm going somewhere I know I'm planning on drinking, I know I'm not driving. I'm taking an Uber to the bar and I'm
Yeah.
taking an Uber back. And that
Yeah.
doesn't happen. It's rare, like
Right.
I think the last time I had more than one or two drinks was at a wedding in Key West this year, and I know I wasn't driving. So like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, terrorists, like, they just think they're above the law, man. Like, but
Well,
I'm just,
they don't think and that's
yeah,
unfortunate. And trust me, again, I'm not going to ever say that I haven't made bad decisions. So, but it's one of
yeah,
those where it's like it is avoidable, and it's unfortunate to see. I mean, I'm a huge Tony Romo fan, so I'm just hoping that
I
he'll get
like
a
Tony too.
chance. He'll get a chance to make amends, and
yeah. I
and
mean, we
I'll
all make
certainly forgive him.
mistakes.
Hopefully
We all
he
make
can.
mistakes, but like
Yeah, yeah,
stuff like that's preventable.
right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I
just
mean, Nicole, I mean, it really burns me just because like Nicole's best friend got hit by a drunk driver and died like a
Yeah.
couple years ago, and he
yeah.
got off for 1 year time served, and I'm like,
That's crazy. I don't that.
it just burns me up. I'm like, that stuff's so preventable. Like, I don't judge it. If you want to get hammered, go for it. Like, be my
Yeah,
guest, but like, be smart about it. Like,
right. Yeah,
call an Uber. There's so many options now.
yeah, yeah. So, we talked a little bit about money. We're talking about contracts. One of the things that just popped up today, and so it's crazy, and you're going to see it happen. Especially with just escalating contracts, right? It's just going to happen. I mean, it's just the way of the
Hmm.
world. But it was interesting when I saw this thing, and I'll be honest with you, it kind of shook me when the NHL's new highest paid person ever is somebody I've never heard of. And that's one of those things. It happened in the NBA, several years ago, and it wasn't like the highest ever, but it was some guy who signed for like 260 million, max contract, and I'd like honestly never heard of the guy. Now,
Yeah.
and hockey's one of my favorite sports. I know the stars. I know a lot of players. I've never heard of this guy, and I'm like
He's super young.
super
He's
young,
Macklin Celebrini for the Sharks. Yeah.
and
He's
I'm
really
like,
good.
but it's crazy. I mean, that's one of those things where
Yeah.
it's the young, and then you sit there and you're like, you look at the, again, I'm 60, so I'm an old school kind of guy, but it's just like, it's just, that is crazy that you don't have, the Connor McDavids or others, but there it is, that this guy. So I just thought that
Yeah.
that
You
was,
want to put this in perspective. He's making twice as much money now as Nikita Kucherov,
ooh,
Ooh,
which is
wow,
absurd.
wow, twice as much as, wow, that is
But
kind of
I think he's
crazy.
arguably worth it. Like he was an MVP candidate. Like the Sharks almost made the playoffs last year with a terrible team. He scored something like 60 more. Like if you genuinely, they never do this, but if you make the genuine argument every year that the most valuable player to that player's team, he would have won that last year by a landslide because the Sharks would have
What's,
been 0 and
yeah,
82 without him, and
but has
he
he,
scored 60 more points than the next closest guy on his team. Like
yeah,
he's an unbelievable talent. I don't know if this contract will end up being worth it. The NHL is actually
but,
the
and
salary cap's going up and up, and
yeah,
they're talking
has he,
about
but has he
expansion
won a,
again, which I think would be
you know,
stupid. But
Rocket, Richard, most goals. Has he, I mean, has he had them? I mean, so I don't know. Again, and again, it's probably a
yeah,
smart move to lock him in because his contract now, and there's going to be people that are going to beat it. But
yeah,
it just kind of like, I could probably name 10 guys that, at least in my mind, that have certainly done more. But again, it's in these, nowadays, I mean, when we go to job, we get paid for what we're worth. And like tennis or golf, like you get paid for what you do, as opposed to in these sports, you a lot of time get paid for what you're going to do. So that's
I
a
mean, the
different.
Braves have done like with some of their young players, like kind of buy out their arbitration years and maybe like the first couple years of free agency, they'll give them a kind of a larger contract, and sometimes it works. I mean, Acuna's deal was great.
that's literally what the Sharks are doing, Matt. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, it's a smart money move. Like you get a contract maybe below value in market, but they get security. Like, I mean, Austin Riley signed like an 8 year, 210 million deal, and it bought out some of his years. But like this year, the contract looks horrible. He's had a bad year.
yeah,
Um, Acuna's deal's up in a couple of years, but that's what they've kind of done with some of their young guys is kind of like, hey, we'll give you some security and we'll buy your arbitration and maybe like your first year or two of free agency. And then like Acuna, if he hits market, he's going to be, $400 or $500 million play, contract.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if we'll sign him or not, but it's kind of the Braves model. It's kind of what San Jose is doing there. I mean, the guy was, I just saw, I was kind of pulling him up. The Sharks were 26-6-2 on the season when Celebrini scored a goal. So it's pretty valuable.
Yeah.
So, and 37-18-5 when he registered at least 1 point.
Yeah.
So,
and then when he didn't, they were like 8-30 or something like that.
So I mean, he provides a lot of value to the team, and I think they're just looking at that.
Yeah, I'm not
I mean,
saying it's not, but yeah. So
I think that we maybe are getting to the point where you're like, oh my God, how are players making so much money? And like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who Austin Riley is, but you told me he's making $210 million over 8 years. I'm like, oh man.
I mean, he's our third baseman.
I'm sure it's probably worth it, but
I mean, he's our third baseman. I mean, look at Tarek Skubal. He's probably gonna be a $500 million pitcher.
Yeah.
Depends on which team
if baseball doesn't like have a lockout, but
hopefully,
I mean,
they'll get a salary cap and
they'll get a salary cap going. I mean, but I think it's just the way it is. I mean, I remember when Patrick Mahomes signed his first big deal, I was like, oh my gosh, but I think he was worth it.
Yeah, but he had won Super Bowl too. That's what I'm saying. This guy hasn't done MVP. I'm sure he's his team MVP.
He will.
Close
he
to
absolutely
top, and
will.
I'm sure he will.
There is some risk in that those type of deals, but I think San Jose's like, hey, like we'll give you some security, we'll give you this amount of money, but then 3 years from now, we're hoping like that deal's going to look below market. It's going to be a below market value.
I'm not sure
deal.
Twice Nikita's making either that or we got the deal of a lifetime with him. So that's
I mean, we did. Speaking of people who took pay cuts, like he signed like an 8-year, $9.5 million contract when he signed it, and that was I think when he'd won an MVP. So that was a pretty good deal at the time too. But the NHL salary cap has also gone up like $20 million since then, if not more.
Yeah.
So
I know in Austin they're talking about putting they're going to build a ice hockey arena 2 miles from me here.
I know. I think 32 is the max. I think
32 is a perfect number.
But
in any sport, like 32 teams is perfect.
Because otherwise you're going to have 2 conferences of 17 teams. It feels wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Good luck with the scheduling. Yeah.
It's like the NFL is talking about, putting teams in Europe down the road. I'm like 32 is a good number.
Yeah. No doubt. Okay. So some BFFL stuff. I'll be coming out with the Hall of Fame game coming out next Thursday. I'll be releasing the BFFL Hall of Fame ballot come Monday, if not before. So just throwing out a couple of things there because it's always interesting. We only have one name. Kind of a little polarizing might be, but again, in my mind, I think it's a no-brainer. But Antonio Brown will be on the ballot. Again, probably top 4 or 5 easy in terms of player and BFFL terms by far. Terms of top 5s, number 1s, Pro Bowls, and such like that. Certainly, kind of had a crazy ending to his career, but it's hard to argue with some of the stats. And ironically, when I looked at the ballot, which again I'll send out, all of the other positions, quarterback, Brady just went in the BFFL Hall of Fame, wide receiver, tight end, Jimmy Graham went in last year and stuff like that. All have been relatively. Gostkowski went a couple of years ago. The last wide receiver, little trivia for you guys, and I'm going to ask you the question. What was the year, plus or minus, and who was it? The last wide receiver to be elected to the BFFL Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
This is a really good question.
And just Doesn't have to be exact on for the year, but
I'll guess the player.
okay.
Randy Moss.
No,
Okay.
but he certainly, I'm going to bring it up. It was, put it this way. So it was 2016
Oh,
was the last time, which is kind of crazy. Randy went in 2011.
okay.
Randy went in
All
in
right.
2011,
2016.
2016. I mean, again,
I'm trying to think of
great.
who retired in 2015.
Now again, it
Yeah.
was, yeah. So, and
I mean, it
it
could have been
did,
someone before. He
it,
could have been on the ballot for a little
yeah,
bit
it could have been
too.
on the ballot. Yeah, for a little
Yeah.
while. He was still,
My first thought was like Reggie Wayne or something like that, but
yeah, no, and yeah, Reggie's not on the BFFL. I think and yeah, he's in our veterans. He went in
Okay.
2020. We have a lot. So Torrey Holt, veterans,
yeah.
2019. Reggie Wayne, 2020, veterans. Steve Smith, 2022, veterans. DT, Demarius Thomas, 2023. Chad Johnson, last year, 2025. So we have a lot. It's just very tough to make the regular. So 2016,
Wide
T.O.
receiver, 2016.
mega.
Ooh, I don't hate that guess.
Oh, Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson.
Oh,
Wow.
Calvin Johnson, the last.
Megatron.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's been a while. So I mean, he
I think
certainly got
wide
the
receivers
stats.
kind of get disrespected in our league.
What's
You know
that?
they do. I think wide receivers get disrespected a little bit in the league.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, I think
no
it's
MVPs. You know,
but
like
but it's tough. Yeah, no, but it's very tough, I think, also for the consistency. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm just looking here and you look at from some of the old school guys. I mean, you look at no doubt, you look Marvin 6 Pro Bowls, Randy Moss 6 Pro Bowls, Terrell Owens 5, Calvin 4, but you look over the same thing. Torrey Holt 2, Reggie Wayne 3, Steve Smith 2, Demarius Thomas 3, Chad 1. So it's it's tough. I mean,
yeah.
again, I mean, look at somebody like I guess who's never going to be, because I looked at his stats and it shocked me because I'm looking to always try to go back and maybe I
Yeah.
missed somebody to put on the ballot who is not going to ever be
Larry
in
Fitzgerald.
well, no, he's on the ballot again.
Oh.
He's on the ballot. He actually came pretty close, so he's going to be on the veterans
He's the one I
ballot.
always think of when I think of like arguably one of the greatest wide receivers ever, just as far
Yes.
as like ability to play the position,
Yeah.
but like statistically never a great fantasy player.
Right. This wide receiver had 1 Pro Bowl, and BFFL Pro Bowl. And
Julio
I'll just
Jones.
say Julio Jones, exactly,
Wow.
Austin. It's
Wow.
crazy. I was like, he had 1 Pro Bowl for a BFFL, and I'm like, how is that possible? I mean, talk about just your like mini Megatrons, but
Yeah.
I can't even put him on the ballot for the veterans. I'm like, you didn't even. It's so that's the crazy part of it, Just
Yeah.
that
It's
just
tough.
seems crazy.
We've got a prestigious Hall of Fame, that we should
Yeah,
start
we
calling
do.
some of these guys and having them campaign to get in.
Yeah.
I heard I'm not in the BFFL Hall of Fame. What's going on here?
I tell you, I know. And then we'll go, the 3 of us. We'll go around and knock on their door and go, "Hey
Yeah.
guys."
Yeah.
We'll bring them like a red jacket or something.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll have to figure something out. That's good.
I like it.
So, yeah. So we do have some interesting. I'll just wrap it up real quick. We've got so for like quarterbacks, we got Andrew Luck, Big Ben, Carson Palmer. Running backs, Ricky Williams, Zeke Elliott makes his first appearance. Larry Fitzgerald for the wide receiver, Greg Olson, tight end. So it's and Brian Longwell for the kicker. So
Yeah.
it's getting tougher down there in the veterans, but the hall is going to
Well,
be tough. So
and as more people start retiring, you're just gonna. I mean, it's gonna
Yeah.
fill up pretty good. you
well, it
know?
is, but it's interesting. That's the part where I'm looking down there. I mean, and it's like our Hall of Fame has been either usually. I mean, there's been maybe a couple, but it's usually like a 1. Sometimes it's even 0. I mean, it's very difficult to get
We had
in.
0 last year, right?
I think Jimmy Graham. Or was Jimmy I think Jimmy.
I think there was
Jimmy
only one player on the ballot last year. I'm pretty sure
I think
it was Ryan
was.
Longman.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. No, Jimmy Graham was our
Oh, okay.
Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was, yeah, you're right. He was the only one that he met our criteria that we have to have for the, Pro Bowl, the tops 5, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not easy. So
Do we want to do our final takes?
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll add one more thing BFFL wise. Like, just keep checking your emails, guys. I mean, I did send the preliminary Super Weekend. I've gotten a couple of responses. Rick and family's coming in. Jonathan and Jeremy will be here as well.
Awesome.
So, they're going to Airbnb. I do have at least 2 spare bedrooms here.
Nice.
And so, if anybody
I'll
needs
probably steal a couch or something.
well, I might have a spare bed too. So
There
I definitely have couches, and Tara even offered like hers like an overflow for her house as well. So because she's pretty close by. Excited about the draft at the Battery. Dan
Yeah.
Nancy
I can't wait.
gonna open up.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that, and Scott's gonna host first round Friday night, and so I'll start sending that stuff out like draft times and whatnot, and I'm very, very, very excited about this year. I did a little draft. I did kind of initial draft prep last weekend, so
I need to start looking at it. I've done a little bit, but not much yet.
I went out and bought 3 magazines and kind of did my initial stuff.
Nice.
So definitely getting there. So
yeah. John actually texted me about the trophy and stuff like that, so you can get those inscribed and stuff like that. So
I picked up the ones today, and it was funny. Like, we had to go to a different school today, and I was like, hey, y'all can ride with me if you want, but I got to go to the trophy shop and pick up trophies. And it's the 2 other ladies I work with closely, social studies teachers in 7th grade. And so I was like, hey, I'm just going to go here, pick them up. Y'all can come in if you want. And they're bringing out just poker, the guillotine, the Jackie Trophy, the paper football. And they're just like, oh my gosh. And like, one of them was like, oh, how do I get in this league? So like her and her boyfriend are already interested. And I said, well, we got to have an opening. And then it's kind of an application process. I said, it's a real deal. We just don't let anyone in. And but yeah, it's
cool.
Actually, it's in the truck still, the trophies. I had to run up here and get home. But I'm going to get them out and, but that's cool. It's all done. Plaques are done. And nice. I got to order Wayne and Mark their jerseys. They kind of did a little bit of an alternate type of jersey this year. Good. I believe. Okay. I got to clarify it with them. But
they've got so many at this point,
I know.
Yeah. Well, this is their last one and then it's helmet time. So, but yeah, so it's getting there. We're excited about it. And like I say, I got a couple spare rooms, and, also Nicole can always sleep on an air mattress in my room, and there's a 3rd room as well. So, got plenty of room, and looking forward to it. So,
yeah, no, that's going to be exciting. Very definitely.
Mm-hmm. Chris, are you going to be able to stay up first round Friday night?
When you mentioned the Friday,
you got
oh my gosh,
11.
this is going to be like, it's going to be like, I think I might have to, I'm not sure what.
You might have to wake up early.
Well, it's not even that. It's just, it'll be, whenever the first one goes, if it's, if it's 6, it's like, that's fine. It's like 12, but then if it doesn't happen till like later, but I'm sure you guys will be playing poker.
I think we kicked off at 7 last year. I think
7. Okay.
Yeah. 7:00 Eastern time. So,
yeah,
but
okay.
I think we got it down to like 15-minute increments, and usually people just kind of go through it. So,
yeah. No doubt. It's funny. I was having to, with my phone and stuff like that, trying to delete some videos because I'm like at my capacity and stuff. And I was going through and saw some like first round Fridays. Like this one was actually at Dan's house, and I had done like 12 or 14 videos. I'd
Mhm.
done everybody's their first, and I tell you, it was just magical, man. Just looking at like, everybody like looking through and who was it and getting to, oh man, it was, also
I
Yeah.
the year too, the Kelsey year.
I,
So it
I was
was
showing I was
yeah.
showing Tara a video from
so
first
cool.
round Friday where you left the draft board at your house. We had to go
Oh,
back and get
yes.
it, and I had
Yes.
Dan, I mean not Dan, Jim on the phone. We had Jim on the phone. And he was making his pick,
Yes.
and he picked like I think somebody Wayne wasn't expecting. And Wayne was like just like in the background going, "Oh shoot," like just cussing away, like he couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, last year doing the Commish cast and getting the like
Oh my
NFL
gosh.
draft video was
oh,
unbelievable.
that
That
was really
was,
cool too. I
that was
mean,
amazing. That was, yeah, that's when we have like a 40-year anniversary and we do some, top moments, that will be definitely one of the best for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was a
yeah,
classic.
yeah. I was gonna
So,
send my coworker tonight put the why we named it the Jack. Like she understands the Jackie, but like the moment of Jackie's like joy of
oh
victory.
yeah.
Like I'm gonna send her a picture tonight and just I'm like
There we go.
it's just about that stuff, like those memories and
Yeah.
like and whatnot. So it's something I'll always remember of Jackie is like that victory.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh my
so
gosh. No
yeah,
doubt.
but
Mm.
but yeah, so just keep looking out for stuff. And I got the
Yeah.
draft documents ready, so I'll probably send that early as well. So if people want to pay early, they can. You know, so
There you go. Sounds good. Who wants to lead with a take?
Uh, I'll go first.
Okay.
Um, my final take isn't really sports related.
No, it doesn't have to be.
It's it's more heartfelt. I want to give a huge shout out to the both co-owners of the Terrors. Pretty big week for both of them. Today's Kelly's birthday, first of all. So
Yes.
happy
happy
Yep.
birthday,
happy
Kelly.
Yep. Happy
birthday.
birthday,
If you end
Kelly.
up watching this. Second of all, she's getting an award this weekend for her book of poetry that she wrote about Sam,
Oh yeah.
lamenting Sam.
Yeah.
So she's getting recognized by the Florida Authors and Publishers Association and getting a President's Book Award for that.
Yes.
It's awesome.
So congratulations to her. And also shout out to John Terry, my father,
Your dad.
the
Yeah.
new Chief Assistant State Attorney at
Yes.
the in the
Yeah.
13th District of Florida. Way to go, Dad. Way to go, Kelly. Love you
Woo.
both. Wanted to use some time here to shout out one
Yeah.
of our most loyal viewers and his wife and just two overall incredible people. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yes. Yeah. Congratulations to them both. That is very exciting.
Hmm.
So, and you're definitely right to call them out. Certainly, I know it's especially your dad. It's funny. Samantha's like, so it's like is he still going to be doing murders? I'm like, I don't think we call it doing murders. No, that's not. It's like he puts murders away, and he's like got a perfect record. So that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
That's
No, he's
awesome.
basically now the COO of the office is how
yeah.
it's been described to me. So
Well, it's well deserved.
um,
Both of
yeah,
them.
yeah.
I mean, they're both great people. So they do a lot of great things. I love seeing like things they do and travels they take, and that's just awesome. So
They're wonderful. They're out
Yeah.
I'll have to send you guys some of the pictures later. They were out riding like
Unicorn?
animal scooters today, yeah, around Tampa for Kelly's birthday. So
I saw that.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're awesome. I love them both very much,
That's
and
awesome.
hopefully
That's
they
good.
see this.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hopefully they do. Gotta wait till the end for the fun stuff. Yeah. There you go. Well, I'll go ahead and go, and
yeah.
Matt, we'll
Go
let
ahead.
you finish up and stuff like that. Just with all these little sports things at the end, and it was kind of like looking, it's like for me, kind of I always kind of bring up the old school kind of thing, and then try to see how some of the new school kind of thing is taking place, and one just caught and I know he's a new sensation, and it's truly kind of like amazing what he's doing. And we haven't really talked about baseball a lot today. I mean, the trade deadline's coming up and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But this guy, I guess Jacob, the Miz, as they call him,
Mhm.
Mizorowski. And, I think just a couple days ago, literally, struck out 12 of his first 13 batters. And then just seeing that he owns 147 of the top 150 fastest pitches ever,
That's amazing.
which is kind of crazy, which is amazing, and that is cool. I mean, just for the whole thing, because and to tie it into that new school, the old school. Yeah, I grew up, especially again, with John and I, we grew up, collecting baseball cards, and one of my favorite players was just the Ryan Express, Nolan Ryan. And he was the original flame ball thrower, and just he was the hardest thrower for decades, obviously. And when you just look at that, and so old school, have to give a little props to Nolan Ryan. I hope Jacob can not only take his fastest pitches, but also turn it into something like Nolan Ryan did. Nolan Ryan just had to put these two little things in perspective. Not only like the fastest, but he also threw 7 no hitters. All
Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
7 no hitters, which is crazy, truly unbelievable. But I think there's even something even more amazing than that. And it's hard to be more amazing than that after all the other stats. But he pitched for 27 years. And we were just talking about guys throwing your elbow out after what, high
Yeah.
school, maybe
Yeah.
college, 3 years, how many Tommy Johns, I mean, whatever. The dude, the fastest throwing, flamethrower in Major League Baseball history for decades, for 27 years. It's truly amazing. So my tip of the cap to Nolan Ryan and to Jacob. I hope he can create the amazing awareness and fastball throwing is just one of those things in baseball that while again it's not my favorite sport, anytime you see somebody throw 106 miles an hour, I think what he's up
Yeah.
to, it's pretty amazing.
I think it was 113 or something recently.
Oh
Mhm.
man, crazy,
I mean,
crazy.
just
For a
crazy.
starting pitcher too is
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
yeah. So
Yeah. I wouldn't
hopefully
want to
continue.
face him game one of the playoffs if I was the
No.
other like another team.
Yeah,
Like, there's
yeah,
no way. I mean,
yeah.
and Milwaukee, if it's hosted at Milwaukee, it's just going to be electric.
Yeah,
There all the
yeah.
time.
Well, and I'll just end with I'm just hoping that before Monday, the Tampa Bay Rays actually after last year trading away when they were 2 or 3 games out of the playoff race and actually started trading away players. I just hope that we truly actually trade 4 players and actually make a fun run this year. So love to see them back in the playoffs.
I think it would definitely help their case trying to build this new stadium too.
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
after
Agree.
they got rid of people, I was on the no side, but I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll end with this. I mean, I love watching sports and stuff, but I also like, at the end of the game, win or lose, like seeing a lot, it's almost like a spiritual revival in sports. I think you're starting to see a
Yes.
lot more players praise the Lord. And, I always say God gives you a talent or multiple talents, right? And it's
Is
up
where
to
they
you to
come
use
from.
it.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that, and I'm
Yeah.
like I'm not blessed with great athleticism, obviously, but like to be able to like influence, this is my 24th year going into my 24th year, and I'm like I was thinking about it today. I was like, if I had 100, let's say 150 kids a year, I mean that's almost like almost 4,000 kids I've influenced over
Yes.
the years,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
so, and seeing like, one of my former students, Smile Monday, he's, playing linebacker for the Eagles,
Yeah.
or like,
Right.
I'll run into like some of my former students in public, and, they're like 33 years old now, and, they're vice president of their company. That happened to me a couple years ago. And it's just, I always say like we're blessed with some type of talent, and,
Yes.
and seeing, just seeing it and just giving thanks for it. Like, we're all
Right.
blessed with it. So just, I love
Yes.
seeing like athletes do that. But I
Yeah.
think like, even like us non-athlete, we're not in the NFL, we're not pro basketball
Yeah.
players, baseball players,
Yeah.
World Cup players, but just say, giving thanks every day, for what the talent he has given us, and to be able to
Yeah.
influence others with it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
That's
I agree.
that's great. I totally agree. And I love seeing it. And the great part I think we even saw in the World Cup a lot was that, it's not just, yes, thank you for winning. It was when they didn't win. that they're, still giving praise and thanks for just, having, like you said, the talent, but also using it for, for wonderful purposes. I know the one thing was just, just being able to have, one of the sportsmanship sides was, and this is not the World Cup, but it was in the Champions League when, Arsenal was basically the final.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, he sailed the kick over, and one of the PSG guys goes over to him first. Before, everybody else is celebrating, but he goes over.
He sprinted to him. They're national team teammates, so they knew each other. And he immediately went over to him and gave him a huge hug.
Oh, that was just giving me goosebumps thinking about it. That's just, it's amazing. Yeah, sportsmanship, and then again, given our creator the praise and thanks that he deserves. It's really neat. It really is.
I think anyone who is given a place, or not given, given a place like that and a ability like that, and using it for positivity and betterment in a world that can feel incredibly chaotic and difficult a lot of times. Like a lot of unfortunately this offseason is the offseason is always a struggle for a lot of these kind of players, and I know that bringing a positivity, I think, to the sport and bringing that energy forward as opposed to dragging others down is always more important. So I'm incredibly, I agree with you guys that I think that spreading that message more is one of the most important things we can do for sports in general.
Yeah, because I mean, the youth season, and and it's so, like, don't get me wrong, like when I played, I was so competitive, and I still am. Like, I'm very competitive, but like, but like I wanted to beat the person across from me every single time. But like, I would help them up, or like, hey, good game, good game after the game, don't talk trash, or like put someone down, just lift them up,
Yeah. It's neat just seeing, like you said, when a lot of the football teams now, they'll meet at midfield, after the game, and they'll, be praying and thinking that hopefully, they made it through the game without major injury, those kind of things. And that's, that's asking for the Lord's protection. And it's good. Like you were saying, Austin, I mean, taking the opportunity to do this in front of, especially those people, and especially their 8 and 10-year-old kids that come, and maybe they have like a curiosity because maybe, they don't,
they're like, why are these players on both teams? What are they doing together after the game?
Right.
Yeah.
It's neat. And it's like you said, it's not always easy to do, but it's something that, we need to do.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Well, those are great takes, guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That was awesome.
Very cool.
I think we're all just really excited for football.
Yeah.
Oh, I am. Don't get me wrong.
Is it here yet? Is it here yet?
I know.
Oh, yeah. So, and a fun little thing is that in our fantasy champions league, the one of the leagues that only had 8 teams fell out. So I'm confirming, but I've got an initial yes for another league that is in Germany. So the FCL is going international before even the NFL. I'm just saying.
Wow.
So I think we all have something to be pretty happy. If that happens, we'll have a German league, which is run by one of the International Buccaneers Fans of the Year. They're based in Munich. So we will have a fantasy team there that will be participating, just in the build-up this next 2 years. But that's pretty exciting.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. I'm excited about that too.
Yeah. So we're down to, we got 10 teams have accepted the draft date. We just need Wayne and one of the other ones to accept it, and we'll be on for.
Well, Wayne, if you're watching this, start accepting it.
There you go. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's cool. Well, hopefully next, I guess we'll figure out if we want to do the when John and Kelly and Frank and Dee Dee and we're all in Spain, might do that. I'll talk to those guys, and if they do, I'll text you guys, and maybe we could do it, one night in Spain while we're looking up at the solar eclipse or something.
Yeah.
So
be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. So, always love
Cool.
to have guests on here. So it'd be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be a pretty good crowd too. So it'd be
Yeah.
we'd have 6 of us over here. So that's a pretty neat thing. So
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
yeah, cool. All right, well, I'm gonna hit the bed. It's 1:41. So
Yeah. Yeah. We'll let you out of
Yeah.
here. I gotta
It's
go to
getting
dinner.
late. So, all right,
All right,
guys. Well, it's been a great Commish cast. And
that
we'll
sounds
see you
great.
soon.
Oh, yes, one more thing. Austin, check the Radiant's having a men's night August 9th. Just check
Okay.
your schedule and just let me know later. But I just got something from Austin, so or Oscar, so
Okay.
just let me know. So
Gotcha.
all right, guys.
All
Well,
right.
that was great. That's a wonderful time. And again, as always, I appreciate sharing time with you guys.
Yeah, man. It's been
As
great.
always.
All right. All right. We'll see you soon, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
All right. Bye.